Totem 2.0 is a project that I started to envision probably over a decade ago. I have been carving full-size totems from old growth for a long time, and access to the wood was starting to get more and more complicated. I was also thinking about my own traditional teachings around responsibility to future generations and started to wonder if I should be carving old growth anymore. What could I do differently? Because second growth trees are so much smaller. And eventually I sort of came up with this idea that I could make a pole that was like what's behind me now, where I would take beams of cedar and fit them together by tapering them. We sort of strap them to squeeze them together to keep them from bouncing around. This is the first pole that I'm making this way, so I'm learning as I go, right? I'm very careful when I talk about this project to say that I have no judgment for our artists who are carving old growth. The decision I made for myself isn't even actually not to carve old growth. It's just that I will only carve old growth for cultural purpose and for community. Any work that I'm going to make for sort of the public market or for private sale will be made from second growth now. So I'm wary of bringing any kind of bad feelings with artists, because we're not the ones who led to the situation that we're in where old growth is so scarce. And if anybody has a right to carve old growth, First Nations people from the Northwest Coast do.
You kind of got to walk the walk. I mean, you can talk about sustainability and about saving the old growth, but unless you're making some kind of steps forward, you're kind of coming from a place of hypocrisy. So this is, it kind of is a little levity to the conscience. With the power tools, they're very aggressive, obviously, and you can't put the wood back on. So you can get second growth in a wider area. You don't have to go get old growth from a certain valley kind of thing, and there's a smaller area for old growth, so it can be accessible to people who only have access to second growth, and just that alone, I think, is a big part of it too. Carving, I think, is definitely has a lifespan on it, kind of like fossil fuels. It's like there's a limited resource of what we can use here for this, but if carving is your thing and totems are your thing, then this is another way to kind of extend that longevity of it, because the resource pool has been opened up.
Every time I don't carve an old growth, I can imagine at least that I've left one standing.